I'm Oliver Helgemo, the son of Brian Helgemo with the Helgemo Team at Compass. I'm so excited to host episode number 2 of Real Estate Redefined with Brian Helgemo. And today, we are going to talk about the mindset of a real estate agent. If you haven't seen our first episode, go ahead and check that out. It's going to be linked above here, and it kind of goes into the basis of some of the things that we're going to talk about throughout our episodes here this year. Just to start us off, Happy New Year, real estate agents. Happy New Year, Brian. I'm really excited to get into this one with you, talking about mindset.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite topics. Let's jump into it.
All right, where do you want to start?
Mindset, people say, is it more important to have, great skills or a great mindset? I would always say both, it's kind of a trite answer, but the reality is you have to have a great mindset to execute the skills necessary to do any job. And we're talking about being a real estate salesperson. So mindset is always the cornerstone of a real estate agent's business and career and longevity. So we focus a lot on it.
What do you think about people who, say that mindset is maybe overrated, over talked about?
Yeah, I would just disagree 100%. If you look at anybody performing at a high level in any career, professional on any level that we look up to, like athletes, etc., if your mindset is not at its peak or at a healthy level, there's no way to perform consistently as good as you possibly can. And in our business, the reality is in sales, everybody knows who's been in sales or who is currently in sales or looking to get into sales, is that it's tough out there. I mean, you get beat up in sales. You don't get yeses 50% of the time. You get no's 50, 60, 70, 80, 90% of the time. You've got to bounce back up and be able to perform at the highest level.
Tell me some things that you do personally that help you bounce back.
Bouncing back, at this point, I think about the company more than myself. I also think about the client more than myself. In whatever part of the transaction I'm participating, whether it's negotiating a contract, working with a buyer-controlled sale, or working with a seller representing them to get their home sold. If I can't hold myself at the highest level and keep my composure and keep my positive attitude, my results are going to wane.
Yeah, that makes sense. Have you had some times recently where you've seen your results wane and you've had to remind yourself the core things that you remind yourself of?
Yeah, I mean, in real estate, part of holding on to and building a great mindset is it's a numbers game. You need to know your numbers. Your numbers are going to tell you what a good day, what a good week, what a good year is.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, if you know that there's so many so-called no's, or so many call it cancellations of contract is normal for your production, then you're not going to get focused on the outcomes of each individual one. You're going to focus on the next client to serve, the next transaction to get, the next commission check to bring into you and your company.
Okay, that makes sense. So, a question I had written down for you was, why do you think two agents with the same market, same tools, same opportunities, right, end up with completely different careers, and how early can you usually tell which one's going to win?
By different careers, you mean by the success they have in the same career, right? Yeah. So the one with the strong mindset, the customers, buyers and sellers, they can sense your mindset as soon as you pick up the phone. They can hear it in your voice. They can see it in your face when you go head to head, or you go to their house or go to show property, and they're going to be absorbing basically your mindset, your energy going into the transaction, and feeling either more comfortable and confident or less comfortable and confident. And I can tell you, somebody that has a bad mindset, if you're going into a real estate transaction with them, the client immediately senses it. And they're going to start doubting your abilities and not listening to maybe some of the proper guidance that you're giving them. Let's say it is proper. They're going to start doubting you.
Yeah. you've bought some cars, you've bought some boats. When you've worked with other salespeople, what do you think the general mindset is that you've seen?
I think the sales field out there, as far as cars, boats, and even houses, I think that I think the mindset for professionals as a whole is lacking.
In terms of a positive one?
Lacking at having a positive one, correct. And, if you have a client, buyer, or seller in this situation that's extremely motivated for whatever that motivation is, anybody can handle a relocation or somebody that has to sell. But getting somebody that's looking for an emotional purchase, that is just buying a second home, or for what you were referring to, buying a boat or an extra car that you don't need. If you have somebody that's taking you on that journey, that's not bringing you up or making you feel comfortable and confident, you'll probably go somewhere else. Because you don't have to buy it. I call them have to buys or need to buys, or need to sells or have to sells, or just want to sell. A want to sell is somebody that has, moderate motivation. They get a salesperson that doesn't have a great mindset about maybe a challenging market which we've been in for a couple years. If they will work with you, they're probably not going to work well with you while they're working with you, or they're not going to hire you at all.
So do you think that want to sells are more likely to pick an agent over their mindset than a have to sell?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I have to sell if they have a choice. They're still going to pick the better mindset agent, but you're going to get somebody that's pushed into a situation where they have to move to Chicago for a job transfer, or they have to move somewhere for a medical situation or a death in the family.
Oh, so they might be more prone to compromise on the agent they choose.
Would compromise more on the agent, more than likely. Yes.
Whereas a want to sell is maybe like, we'll just interview a few more.
I mean, we get back to talking about numbers, trying to stay on track with your great questions is, let's say there's 100 transactions in a year, and let's just say 25% of them are not have to sells. Okay. They just want to sells or want to buys. If you can't get great at converting them, which A, knowing what to say, B, having a great mindset, you're not going to convert those. And so you're going to be an agent, like you said, agent A may sell, let's just say 75% just for fun numbers. And agent B with a phenomenal mindset may sell 100%. Same amount of time, same skills, like you said, one's got a better mindset. Now, just to correct numbers there, no one's going to get 100%. So let's just correct that. Buyer A does 50 deals out of 100, and buyer B with a great mindset does 75. So 25 more transactions, same 365 days of the year, same 5 days, 7 days in a week. And let's say that they're looking at a $5,000 check for every commission earned. That's a big difference, right? So,
okay. So what I hear you saying is that maybe agents that don't have a super strong mindset right now, they're doing fine in the marketplace, are more than likely finding the have to sells, not the want to sells, right?
They're just leaving so much on the table. As kind of a summary, not saying that what you're saying isn't correct. I agree with what you said, but they're just leaving so much on the table.
Yeah.
Somebody that walks into a real estate office or that calls off the internet and has moderate motivation, a second home or a third home buyer, they're a far harder customer to convert into a sale, a listing sold or a buyer sale, than somebody that has to do something. But either way, whether it's have to or want to, let's not get bogged down with that. The positive mindset that someone can possess and put that aura off, or that energy off to the prospect.
It's attractive.
It's extremely attractive. And you can actually have, here's another fun scenario. You can have somebody, a guy or a gal, outside of their good looks or not good looks, but just has a phenomenal personality and doesn't know anything about real estate at all, and they'll still sell real estate.
Yeah.
So you put somebody with good skills and a great mindset together, and you're virtually unstoppable.
So we say good. How do you grade that? Because, I'm sure a lot of agents think they've got a good mindset and good skills, but they're still only closing, 10 deals a year,
Yeah.
20 deals a year.
Sure.
So how do you perceive someone having good skills and a good mindset? What does that look like to you?
I think a lot of positive energy, a lot of energy in general. Obviously would bounce back or be very resilient day in and day out in the tough sales world that we're in. But let's be real. Not everybody's going to be a Marlon Brando or a Kevin Hart or something like that. I mean, I'm certainly not. I think I'm kind of funny, but I'm not Kevin Hart, right? I wish I was, as far as his funniness and success. But we have to be the best that we can be. So we take 10 people and everybody's got a little different personality. Can we elevate somebody's presence and mindset that they can convey with prospects? The answer is yes.
Yeah.
So why don't we? Well, let's do it. Let's elevate.
Yeah. Let's elevate.
Yeah.
Good,
I mean, who do you like to listen to? I mean, I mentioned Kevin Hart, but there's so many funny comedians out there. They're not boring. Mm-hmm. They're pretty exciting. And I think a lot of these guys and gals that are doing movies, I don't know the exact numbers, but historically being paid $20, $30, $40 million a film, people like watching them.
Yeah.
And that's not who they are.
Right.
I have a business mentor for over 20 years. He brought up Sylvester Stallone, Clint Eastwood, some different people he's met over the past, some very famous people. And he's met them outside of the movies. Mm-hmm. They're boring.
Yeah.
So even if your mindset doesn't look picture perfect, okay, and you can elevate it, they say, fake it.
Yeah.
The customer doesn't know the difference, but they can know it if you approach them or carry them through the transaction without a positive mindset and maybe with a little negativity. I mean,
because it's a show, it's a presentation.
Yeah, it's stage time. It's stage time. As soon as you pick up the phone, as soon as you walk in the front door of someone's house, as soon as you're negotiating a contract, it's stage time. You need to be who the client needs you to be.
Right.
And going back to the stars on TV that we see on television and the movie theater, Netflix, they're being who they need to be.
Right.
So, and sales, you're not there to give them the facts, the figures, and be who you are. You need to be who they need you to be. And many times it's putting on a bit of a persona, and whether it's an authentic or a little bit of a contrived, you need to have a great mindset.
Right.
What happens if you're my real estate agent, Oliver, and you get the home inspection and the whole AC system, say it has two of them, they're both shot, and it's $30,000, and you call me up and say, I got terrible news for you. Both ACs are shot to hell, and I don't know. Do you want to cancel the contract? The buyer's going to say yes. What if you call that client up and say, hey, the good news is we figured out what's wrong with the house. We do have a couple issues. Looks like replacement with the ACs. I'm going to negotiate the best I can to get the sellers to give us some sort of a credit, maybe 100%. And we might be able to end up be at the closing with brand new air conditioners. How does that sound?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a different...
It sounds so much better.
It's a different...
Such a different conversation.
Yeah. And then you have to create that, and you got to be who they need you to be.
Yeah.
What else is on your mind?
I think we tell ourselves a story, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone, and I've heard this before, Tony Robbins, Mike Ferry, even you and my mother, everyone's telling themselves a story.
Yes.
And you're the only one who can choose what story you're telling yourself.
Yes.
So a lot of the times I believe that we in real estate, we in the industry tell ourselves a story that isn't true about ourselves. That's maybe negative.
Okay.
And we take those things on our listing appointments. We take those things on our buyers presentations that maybe, I'm not going to win against this agent, right? Mm-hmm. Or I don't have the right brokerage that's going to be able to leverage this listing.
Right.
But I think those are all stories we're telling ourselves, right? A lot of them are.
Yes.
And
they're the wrong stories.
The wrong stories.
Yeah, the wrong stories. And it's a bit like mindset, but it's also kind of goes into more of self-confidence and self-esteem.
Well, it's all part of your mindset.
Well, that's true. So go ahead.
Well, so my question for you is, what story, at any point in your real estate career, have you told yourself that wasn't true, that you didn't realize was true until you got past it? A negative story, one that you felt you needed to let go.
Well, I'm going to flip that. And I'm just going to say that whenever I go into a presentation, whether it's now or 20 plus years ago, I always tell myself going into the situation, I'm the best salesman to handle the job for the customer. Mm-hmm. And I will chant that to myself, and I believe that when I go into it. Now, the fact that I've had several thousand successes because I've been in business for a long time, it's ingrained more now. But there are times when I'll go into new subdivisions or maybe even push out of geographic areas that I'm not as comfortable with, which is versus right around where we live, where I have to kind of build up that confidence. So I don't think there was a time, if there is, I've chosen to forget it, that I told myself a bad story. Huh. Now, I've recently gone snowboarding, and I'm just a little over 50 years old, and I will tell myself a few stories about some of the trails that maybe I shouldn't go on. That could be true, but that's not helping my confidence in approaching those trails. I definitely, if I'm going to go into take on that black diamond, and I have that mindset that this is something that I'm worried about, I'm more than likely to fall versus coming up with the confidence. If that makes sense.
I think that applies in your listing presentations.
Oh, it's 100% the same thing.
I know that your last year as an 100% buyer's agent, you did like 130 sales, right?
Around in there. Yeah, a little more. Yeah.
So that was, great money for you. When you started to take listings, and I know you didn't start taking $3 million listings.
Oh, no.
But when you had the first opportunity for someone that was really a high caliber client.
Yes.
And you've been working with, so many people, such high volume, number of people, but maybe not necessarily experienced in the high price points. Mm-hmm. How did you feel? And I want you to really think about your mindset for it, of how you got it or how you didn't get it. I know it was so long ago, but I'd love to hear, because I hear and I talk to agents every day that they feel like they don't have maybe the poise or the information or the personality type for a $1 million client.
Right.
I don't think that's true. I think that's another story.
Right.
So how did you come up with the confidence? What was your mindset when you were going into that, maybe the first few, high caliber clients or high volume prices?
I think some people turn stressful situations, whether it's business or personal or sports. Some people, that creates anxiety for them, maybe some negative anxiety, if that's possible. I don't know if there's positive, but I turn it into positive energy. And actually motivating me, and I get excited about that. But, just being real, I can remember the first 7-figure properties that I listed. Somebody's got to give you a break, someone's got to give you a break. You've got to have the right approach, the right attitude, the right expectation, but someone's got to give you a break, and it's a numbers game. If you go on 10 luxury appointments and you're a newer agent, you're not going to get them all. You probably shouldn't get them all, but you just keep plugging and you keep after it. And I think I made up a lot of what I didn't know about selling homes, because I didn't know a whole lot back in the early 2000s. I was new. I made up with energy and enthusiasm. And relating.
Energy sells, right?
Energy sells, and really being relatable to the client, the husband and the wife, and using those relationships and that ability to build rapport, as they say, which different theories on that. I'm definitely a proponent. Some people are more, stay so factual. I don't agree with that. So I think you have to get some breaks, but you got to get your foot in the door. Mm-hmm. And you have to be realistic about your responses. If I go on 10 luxury presentations now, I don't get all 10. I know my numbers. I'm not going to get all of them. But I would tell a new agent that I was able to help, or that whether in or out of my company, that make it up in other ways. Be positive, you smile, be early, be prepared.
Dress well.
Are you dress well? Are you going to know all the answers? No. You know how many agents dress poorly on a listing presentation across the United States? It's absurd. How many real estate agents, whether they're new or old, show up 5 or 10 minutes late? It's absurd. Don't do that, right? So that's a great question.
have there been times where you were running late and you were like kind of a mess, sweating, like you know how it is when you're driving fast and you're trying to get somewhere?
Many times.
And you went into the listing appointment anyways without doing your pre-listing ritual.
Yeah.
And you kind of got slapped by it.
Oh, sure. Yeah. You deserve it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you deserve it. You know, and the people are judging you from the time you hang up the phone and set the appointment to the time they get any information, to the time you show up at their house, to what you look like. And then the last thing that you can do that's going to help or hurt you is what you're going to say.
Yeah.
And then how much you're going to listen to what they're saying. Another critical flaw of salespeople is they don't listen, they talk. But that's for another time.
Yeah, that reminded me of, I can't remember where we were. We were buying something. We were working with a salesperson, and we got in the car and you looked at me and you said, what was wrong about that situation? And I said, he didn't ask any questions. And he said, you're 100% right.
Yes.
He didn't ask us a single question the whole time.
Yes.
He kept showing us the products and kept moving us through the products and didn't even ask what was important to us.
Yeah.
So
I don't remember the specific place for that
either.
But I remember being very almost offended by it.
So a question I have for you is, and this is kind of an interesting question, but just think about it. What's the most expensive mindset mistake you've made? What was it and how did you fix it? Or how much did it cost you?
Several years ago, I was generating enough business to where I needed to add some more administrative help other than the staff that I had. And I was basically too slow in adding the new admin because my mindset said I couldn't afford to hire the new help. And I didn't think the business was going to be able to sustain and make that really, really a smart business decision. And I probably waited too long. I probably waited at least 6 months to a year to do that. And I knew the mistake I made because when I decided to go ahead and move forward with adding that next individual, the business just exploded.
Wow.
And I got I told you so from some people that are close to me in the company, which they were right.
Yeah.
They were right. So that's where I can think of that. Other ways as far as mindset is coming out. This is probably more relatable to more people, I would say for sure, is coming out of a buyer's market into a strong seller's market, which we've had a couple in the last 20 years that have been pretty dynamic. Getting very comfortable about the business coming to me because the market was doing so well. So I was looking at my business growth numbers as how much better I was doing and how many more sales I was doing, and not comparing myself to the average growth of the actual city itself. So I was basically just keeping up with inflation, for lack of a better way.
Okay.
I wasn't really growing my business 10, 15, 20% and giving myself a pat on the back. The seller's market that I was experiencing, where the market just comes to you like we had in 21 and the second half of 20, can get you feeling very comfortable and very cocky. And relying on the market versus yourself and your own skills.
Yeah. And a funny question I had with someone was, how many homes have you sold in the last 5 years? And they said, I've sold 100 homes in the last 5 years. And I go, that's awesome. How many have you sold in the last 2 years? 3.
Yeah.
And so they sold 75 homes in that COVID peak.
Sure.
And they didn't know how else to generate business.
Right. A lot of reasons for that, but a big reason, even when you have some experience, is you start believing it's you that's so good, and really it's the market that's bringing it to you. That's all good until it's over.
So what's the flip of that? What's the mindset when it's buyers? When it's a buyer's market, and if during a seller's market it's you're so good, the market's coming to you, and the buyer's market it's I'm so bad, the market's not coming to me.
Yeah, no, I think it's just it's a more honest time to do real estate. Sellers, brokers, and individuals that are in the business come to Jesus very quickly that they either have the skills or don't have the skills to sustain themselves or hit the goals that they want to hit for them and their families,
Right.
because it's a skill market. This market, if you have skill and you have grit, you're going to make it and have success on some level. If you don't have skill and grit, and obviously we talk about mindset, it's not going to happen.
On the category of mindset, what can I do tomorrow that will help me with my mindset?
I'd say get real, start tracking your numbers. That would be the first thing, to get realistic on really what you should get excited about, what you need to grow, what areas you need to grow, whether it's different skill sets, different scripting, scheduling, just so many.
You mean like affirmations? I mean,
what
do you think improves your mindset the most? What do you think has the most? What do you think moves the needle the most?
I think you need a target first. I think you need to know where you want to go. Are you an agent that's doing 10 deals a year and you want to do 15? Okay, well, let's come up with a plan. And as far as mindset's concerned, there's a lot of different things that you can do for that. If you're an agent that's at 40 or 50 deals and you want to get to 60, 75, 80, 100 deals, you're going to do similar things, but a little bit different. But I think you need to know your numbers first, and then you can take action steps, and you can use affirmations. You can find some coaching out there that knows more than you do, and start taking a pragmatic approach versus just, I'm going to do 100 deals this year, and then last year you did 12. That's going to crush your mindset faster than you can even believe it, because
realistic goals.
Yeah,
help mindset.
Absolutely. Yeah. Find some mentors that you like to listen to, or seminars you like to go to. A lot of people really enjoy Tony Robbins. There's a lot of great ones out there. A lot of the information is the same topics, just kind of spun a little differently, and one might speak better to you.
Yeah.
Fill your head with good ideas and thoughts, and your actions will follow. Fill your mind with things that aren't positive, right?
Right.
And see where that gets you. We don't need to talk about that.
We just talked about realistic goals. I talked to someone else who works in real estate in Florida, and she said that she interviews agents and she has them write down their goals for her.
Okay.
And she said that, in the last few weeks, she's interviewed, over 20 people, and 10 out of 20 of those people, their goals were too small. And she said, your goals are too small. Come back next week with bigger ones.
Okay.
So where's the balance between too small of a goal and too big of a goal? How do you hone that in? That seems really tough.
I think not to be a broken record, I think you need to know your numbers. Know your numbers, know your market. Come up with some short-term things that you can track.
Once you know your numbers, though, how do you set that goal? Well, if an agent this year calls me and says, Oliver, I've done 25 deals this year, but I don't want my goal next year to be 50 because that seems like huge, but I don't want it to be 30 because that seems too small. And if you pick 40, then it's right in the middle. So where do you come up with that?
Yeah. I mean, number? I'm going to almost interrupt you or interrupt that person and just say, what's the reason? What's pulling you to hit that goal? Is it to provide for your mother who's unemployed, or your sister that needs a surgery? You're probably going to hit the goal. Is it to upgrade your Lexus? I don't know. So it's going to be, what is your why? It's too simplistic to say, what would you do with that?
Okay.
But I think if you took 10 or 20 or 30 or 40 or even 100 agents and figured out where they want to go, where they've been, and what they've been doing to get to that, and then figure out the why, you can develop a plan. You're going to be a little bit different. You might not be satisfied with it, adding 10 units. If you were selling real estate, you might want to double your business. And you might have the skill set and the passion and the mindset that I think you can do that. Whereas, bachelor or bachelorette number 1 or 2 over here next to you, figuratively speaking, is dabbling in it. But they kind of want to make it happen. They really want to do 50 deals. They'll never do it.
Because of the kinda?
They kind
wanna
of
make it happen.
They kind of. And then what's their reasons? What's their desire? Why? What's pulling them to them? People aren't selling their houses in Punta Gorda to move to North Carolina. They're selling their house in Punta Gorda because something is making them want to go to North Carolina.
How do you? That's so tough. How do you find your why?
Yeah. Well,
help me with that.
You work 40, 50, 60 hours a week with me in real estate. You'll find your why or you'll quit. So I'm not real worried about that. And I don't care if your why is to spend more time the Humane Society or to donate time to the church or so you can afford to buy a new Hummer. I don't care what that is. It's going to be what's important to you.
For the people that are watching that maybe are in real estate, they want to grow their career, but they don't necessarily know that why. They know that they have a burning desire.
Yeah.
They don't know why do they have a burning desire.
Yeah.
What are some exercises or steps that they could take to help figure out what's really important to them?
I think everybody does.
You think so?
Yeah. They just have to put it down on paper. Everybody does.
Interesting.
Yeah. And there's not obviously, this is kind of a vanilla response, but everybody's answer is right. Whatever your reasons are, Oliver, if you were going to be a professional salesperson, you're right. I'm not going to argue with that. If you want to buy a new Range Rover, maybe you want to buy 3 of them in different colors. You don't want to wrap them every 90 days. You want to buy 3, put 3 in the garage. That could get you juiced. Mm-hmm. Mine could be I want to help my parents retire.
Right.
That's fine, but you've got to connect the reason out there with the activities you do.
So what are some steps that they could take to remind them? What are things when you've had really big goals before, and as you do have really big goals?
That's easy. Write it down, put it in your wallet, put it in your purse, put it on your wall.
A picture of it, or
yes, or write it out next to your bed. I had a good business partner or a mastermind partner years ago, very high producer out of Michigan. At the time, he was selling 3 or 4 times as many homes as I was. His name was Dave Abdallah, great agent. He wrote it with nail polish on the wall in his bathroom. What his reason and what his number was. So every time, right on the tile.
Oh,
yeah, a little over the top.
So every time he walked,
every guy took a shower, he saw it in there. Boom, right in his shower. But something where you can keep it in front of you all the time. Or maybe it's the 3 Range Rovers or the Ferrari that you've talked to me about that you'd like to get, down the road, probably in the next 5 years, you want to get a Ferrari. You need to have a picture of that on your iPhone when it comes up. You look at it all the time, right?
Yeah.
So,
we know someone who has the picture of the boat they want to buy. It's his lock screen.
Yes. So some simple things like that. And those things are going to come back to what we talked about initially, which is going to come back to improving and maintaining your mindset. If you're able to connect your goals with your activities and elevate your mindset, you've almost already won the game, haven't you?
I was thinking it's really easy to have a good mindset when things are good.
Yeah.
It's easy to be, the positive person, the person that, attracts when you've got 10 pendings.
Yeah.
But when you have 0, you have 0 listings and you feel like you're starting from the ground up, how do you maintain a positive mindset? And I know that you've been a very good professional and business owner, and you've turned this into a business, so that would never happen to you.
I have ups and downs, though.
When you have ups and downs,
sure.
And when you have those downs, just like the market does, how do you go back to where you were, 6 months ago and remind yourself of who you were or are?
Well, we talked a little bit about sellers that have to sell and that want to sell. If you're an agent that has to sell to provide for yourself, for your family, your financial obligations to your family are going to draw you back to work.
Yeah.
So if you don't really have any financial obligations, you own your car, you own your house, you have your 401k is pretty stocked, you have a pension, maybe you retired and now you're in real estate. You're going to have to, again, get to that back why. But if you came down here as a cop or somebody from New York, started selling real estate and started making good money and bought a $1 million house, that house payment's coming every month.
Right.
So even when things are a little bit low, guess what? You should be getting up early, getting to the office and putting deals together. But if you're wishy-washy Hank or Wilma over here that doesn't have to work, when things get hard, they usually get into another career. That's why there's more people leaving real estate now than ever in history, or almost ever in history. It's one of the highest numbers. I don't know if it's the highest, but the highest number of agents getting out of the business because it's difficult. It takes skill.
Yeah.
And it takes a great mindset. And as easy as those things are, they're still not easy to do.
Yeah.
So did you have any other thoughts today?
Yeah. I like to remember all the things we've talked about, but I really want 3 takeaways from you.
Okay.
I'd like to have 3 things I can do, our listeners can do, agents in the community can do, that they can write down right now watching this video and can use in the next few weeks before they meet us again to help improve their mindset.
Yeah. I would say learn your numbers.
Okay, so that can be number 1, learn your numbers.
Learn your numbers.
Number 2?
Number 2 is energy, enthusiasm wins most of the time.
Energy and enthusiasm wins most of the time. Okay. And
fill your mind with more positive thoughts, whether it's watching a funny comedian, a movie, listening to a seminar like a Tony Robbins or, was it Mel Robbins or whatever is a new awesome. Influencer or whatnot. Fill your head with more positive thoughts than you're getting, and it will help flush out the negative thoughts. That's proven.
Okay. So our number 1 is know your numbers.
Yeah.
Our number 2 is energy and enthusiasm wins most of the time.
Yes.
Practice that in business.
Yes.
And number 3, focus on filling your mind with more positive things than negative.
Right. And if you want a little bonus, get away from the negativity. Get away from the radio, get away from the news, get away from the social media stuff that's not positive.
What about people who are in negative offices, though? There's a lot of offices, like you said, how most of the mindsets of agents are negative.
Can I help you with that?
You can.
Okay. If you're in a negative office, then you need to leave immediately.
That's tough.
As soon as you find a place that you want to transition to. And we're always looking for people that are like-minded to us. Not everybody. We're not looking for people that want handouts. We're looking for people that want to grow their business.
Yeah. So if you're seeing negative media, turn it off. And if you're in a negative office, leave.
Well, I mean, if you listen to any media, it's going to be negative. So really limit or excuse yourself from all media, because it's going to be full of crap.
Yeah.
And it's not uplifting you to hear about anything. Trust me, your family and friends, whether you're married or not, are going to tell you when something huge happens, like in Venezuela recently. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
We needed to know that. Actually, I found out before someone told me, but very rare because I'm not watching the news.
I found out and told you.
Okay, you shared that with me.
So that's also something that I realized we could put in this as well, is turn off the news.
Yeah, media free.
When was the last time you and Mom watched the news?
When COVID hit, because we were worried and trying to be plugged into stuff. When the hurricanes hit, other than that, never, nothing. Yeah. Zip, nada, no more. I'd much rather listen to a funny comedian in my car, or some music that's uplifting, or nothing.
Yeah.
Than hear crap. I mean, think about listening to a bunch of crap and then going in to meet with a client. I mean, how is your mind going to be?
Not good.
It's going to be tough. Now, what if you were listening to your favorite comedian or your favorite musician, and then you walk in to meet with a client and you've listened to Coldplay or whoever you like? I don't know. You change your music all the time, but it's whatever somebody likes, and then you go and meet with a client. Yeah. They're expecting that from you. So control your environment. That's the bonus.
That's huge. My final question for you today, before we wrap up, and we'll see you all in 2 weeks, is if you could sit across the version of yourself right before things finally started to work for you, what would you tell him to stop overthinking and start trusting himself? And maybe for you, that was after the hurricanes. That was really tough. Or maybe it was after COVID.
Yeah. Those were tough times. So what would I tell myself?
Now, what would you tell yourself today, being in a great position, coming out of a really fantastic year that's been full of ups and downs, but overall it's been a fantastic year for you and for the company. Yeah. Whereas what would you tell yourself during those few months that were really tough here in real estate, here in the area, walking around in the destruction, that helped you get back on that horse and go out and start helping people again?
I'd have to believe that it was very much, it was a temporary thing. The reality was it wasn't a day or a week, or even a month. But but it was still temporary. And to think,
Right.
think a year later, a season later, we've closed almost 400 transactions in 11 months. We're able to get back to our, having some time off, going on some vacations, looking at maybe buying some luxury things down the road that we can look forward to buying and doing, and some nice trips. Gosh, when those times are going on, I couldn't see that. And I would tell myself that, it's temporary, which means it could be a couple months and relax.
Right.
And I remember talking to my coach when COVID hit, and I remember pulling over the parking lot on Highway 17, and I was having a hard time driving the car. And he said, this is temporary. You're a great agent. You're 19 years in the business. You've been bringing in, X amount of dollars, helping this many people, and you're going to do it again. And, he was right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was scary times. Though. Everybody has the scary times.
So if you were to, write down 3 notes to yourself in preparation for something terrible to happen, I'm not putting that out in the world, but in the event that it would, what 3 words, only words, you've got 3 words you can choose to help remind yourself in the event something bad happens again, bring you back to reality?
I would just
3 words.
It's 4.
Okay, I'll take 4.
It would be, I'm a great salesperson.
That's your final note.
And if the real estate world ended as we all knew it, I would just go sell something else at a high level, and that would be okay. Don't think that will ever happen, but if it did, if you're a great salesperson, which you are, you have less experience than I have, but you're a great salesperson, you would just go to another company.
Yeah.
The company doesn't define you. The market doesn't define you. You define you. So I'm a great salesperson.
I'm a great salesperson.
I'm not asking people, I'm telling them.
Yeah.
Right?
I really appreciate it.
That was a great question.
What do you think you'd like to talk about next time?
Let's make it a surprise. Let me think about it a little bit.
Okay. He's going to think about it. Stay tuned. Make sure you're friended Brian Helgemo on Facebook. He'll post the announcements on there for the podcast. And, thank you all for joining us this afternoon.
I thought of it.
You thought of it?
Yeah. Nonverbal selling, nonverbal and verbal selling, a dress down of that.
Okay, guys, you heard it. We are going to do nonverbal and verbal selling. This was an awesome episode. Thanks for having me here. Thanks for being vulnerable as always. I know this will really help a lot of agents in our community. And it really helped me too, learn more about everything. Next time we meet, we talked that we're going to discuss nonverbal and verbal selling and the combination between the two.
Yes.
Because, body language and the words you say are just so important, right?
Don't give them any more hints.
I won't give you guys any more hints. Stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed to the email list so you're notified when that comes out. It's going to be an awesome episode. I'm super excited for it already. You can click the link in the description of this YouTube video or Facebook video and join our mailing list to be on the top producer mailing list. Subscribe to that one. You will get messages from Bonnie and Brian 3 times a week. They are going to be giving you gold information on how you can upgrade your life and your real estate career. Also join our podcast notification group. That way you'll be notified when these new awesome, informative, educational podcasts come out. Really appreciated your time today, guys. And, we're really looking forward to seeing you guys in February. Thank you.